I hope your preparation for the IBPS RRB 2020 examination is going very well. If not, this video is going to boost your preparation and give you a strategy by which you can tackle each and every section and all the important things about this examination. Just a quick reminder, Guidely has started a new course for the IBPS RRB 2020 notification. Now all of you who have already purchased the Guidely's Express video course are going to get access to it. So if you want that, just go to the link in the description and in the comments and check it out. And of course, you can get 10% off of this course by using the coupon code Shupriyo. So let's begin with this preparation strategy video. Join my Telegram channel to stay connected with important PDFs, links and other information regarding bank exam preparation. And if you like this video, please click on the like button and share it with your friends so that everybody can get access to this information. And if you are new here, my mission is to empower you with the tools you need to get success in all kinds of competitive examinations. So if you want to join me in this journey, please click on the subscribe button and also do not forget to click the bell icon so that you, my friend, do not miss any future update. Let us begin with this video. Hi, there is Shupriyo. So I have already made a video on the IBPS RRB 2020 notification where I have actually just discussed all the small things about the notification, how the exam is going to be conducted in this pandemic and all the various things. So you can go check out that video if you have not watched it already. In this video, I will be giving you the entire strategy for the IBPS RRB Office Assistant multipurpose post and for the officer's post, which is the scale 1, scale 2 and the scale 3. So let's begin. And first, let us begin with lessons from the past IBPS RRB exams. So what can we learn from the past examinations of the IBPS RRB? Now, a lot of information is available online, and you know that how I approach things is I always break down and just try to get to the depth. So I try to find out the basic concept, the basic thing that makes this exam tick. So I want to understand what are the most important things that if you cover those things, you are going to stand the best chance of getting selected. So if you just analyze this examination very well, then you will find out that this exam, this is testing you basically on your reasoning and your quant skills. So these are the two important subjects, the most important subjects for an IBPS RRB examination. Now, why do I say this? This is because in the prelim section, reasoning and quant are the only subjects that you have to actually prepare for. And in the mains also, if you just analyze the entire paper, you will find that 50% of it is actually comprised of your reasoning and your quant. And yes, the specialist paper, it's a little bit different, but for the other papers, it is 50% weightage. So if you have a lot of emphasis on these two sections, and if you are strong in these two sections, then you are going to stand the highest chance of becoming an IBPS RRB officer or an IBPS RRB clerk. Now, having said that, these two topics that we have, reasoning and quant, which are the most important subtopics of both of these papers, let's just have a discussion on that. So for reasoning, based on our past paper analysis, we can find out that two most important things are the puzzles that we have. So all the different kinds of puzzles. Now here I am considering all types of puzzles. So seating arrangements and all the different ranking order puzzles. And we also have square puzzles. We have floor based puzzles and all the different kinds of things I am just taking into consideration. So everything included in the puzzles. And the second thing that you have to understand, it is actually the blood relations. So the blood relations, they are also most important. So these two things, a lot of emphasis is there on these two things. So make sure that you get a lot of practice in these two things. And also you are going to face questions on inequality. So inequality, that is also something that they are stressing a lot in this examination. So any kind of coding decoding, also another thing. So coding decoding, that is also a very important subject in this examination. And finally you have the directions. So the direction things, so for example north, south, east, west, they will be giving you a small passage and lot of questions based on that. So that question is also very important. So these are the most important things in which you need to be very good so that you stand the highest chance of getting good marks in this examination. Keep that in mind. And when we we come to the quantitative aptitude section, the quant, so they either write it as numerical ability or quantitative aptitude in the various examinations. We are just going to see that just a little later. So for quant, of course, DIs are always important. So DIs, this is not so much in the prelims, but in the mains I am talking about. And of course, in the prelims also, you are going to have lot of arithmetic problems as well given to you. But another thing that is very much in focus is the number series. So in every IBPS RRB examination, they are going to have some nice number series questions. So what happens is, in the number series, they usually give you the missing number series or the wrong number series. So these are the kinds of questions that you should actually practice for this examination. And then you have the quadratic equations. So they are also very important. Quadratic equations, a lot of questions are seen in quadratic equations. You also have the data sufficiency. So data sufficiency question, whether quantity 1, quantity 2, quantity 3 are given to you, and you have to find out if the data given is sufficient to answer the question. Those kinds of questions. These are the kinds of things that are a lot asked in the quant section. And also you have various assorted problems, like you have average problems, you have percentage problems, you have mixtures problems, allegations, you have boats and streams, time and distance. So all those kinds of things, they are clubbed together, and these are the important things that you should be focusing on for the quant section. Another thing to note is that one of these sections is going to be tough. So at least moderate level you will be finding in one of those sections. So either reasoning or quant, in almost every paper they are somehow going to increase the difficulty level, and it is very important that you do not waste time in the difficult questions, because sometimes what happens in these examinations, the aspirants, they feel that okay, I am solving these questions, so it is my target that I have to solve 10 questions of quant and then I'll move to reasoning. No, that is not what you need to do. You need to play according to the paper. So if the paper setter has actually made quant or reasoning difficult, then if you spend a lot of time in those sections, then you are not going to actually solve the entire paper. So make sure that you understand which is the section that has been actually increased, the difficulty has been increased in which section, because if you identify that, then you can attack the paper properly and secure 50% fast. So this is also something that you can follow. So in the paper, since you have an aggregate timing, there is no sectional timing for these papers. So what happens, you can actually try and find out that okay, if the maximum marks is 50 say, so I will be trying to get 20 to 25 in that section, and then I'll be moving to the other section. Now I'll show you how I am talking about it. It's not that you will be waiting and you'll find that you've scored 25 and then you'll move. No, not like that, but at least try for a target of 50% in each of the papers, because remember, sectional cutoff is there and aggregate cutoff is also there. So you have to actually play it like this so that you pass the sectional cutoff in each paper. And the next two tips, so these two things are for people who are actually not solely preparing for IBPS RRB. Now I know most of you might have a dream of SBI PO, or you might be preparing for any of the other examinations, and RRB is just something that you are giving to get to those exams. So I hope that you have decided on your dream and all the other exams are going to help you achieve it. But anyhow, what I want to say is that if you are preparing for a lot of examinations, make sure that you do not mix the preparation for your SBI PO and the preparation for your IBPS RRB, because the format is a little bit different and even the difficulty levels are a little bit different. So I was thinking of providing some PDFs about the IBPS RRB exam. So if you want to see those kinds of things on my Telegram channel, let me know. I'll arrange something. So what I want to say is that separate your days. So for example, if you are practicing for your SBI PO on Mondays, then on Tuesdays try to practice for the IBPS RRB and have separate days. Entire days of the week you have to allocate towards this exam, because if you are just mixing these things, then it doesn't work as well as you might want it to. So make sure that you have that separate kind of a thing. And the two tips that I can give you for the mocks whenever you are taking the RRB mocks, the IBPS RRB mocks. So there are two things you can do. First thing is you have to just find out that you are giving the RRB mocks on the same day. So if you have designated that, say for example you are giving it on a Monday or you are giving it on a Friday, then continue giving it on these 2 days in the week, and on the other days you can try for the other mocks. It will be much prudent if you actually just divide your mocks in this way, because if you mix and match the mocks, it might be a little bit difficult. And another thing you have to do is try and see that if you can give the IBPS RRB mocks in a separate section of your room than the SBI PO mocks. So you might be surprised in this. So what I mean is that you can do it even on the same table. So for example, in a table, you are sitting in front of your laptop, you are giving the SBI PO mock, right? So just try and orient yourself in a different direction when you are giving the IBPS RRB mock. What happens is, this actually tells your brain that it is a different examination, and when you are finally sitting for the examination in the examination center, you will find that your brain will default to that position. That muscle memory, it will actually come into play. So if you just change your orientation, I know it might seem to you that it's a trivial thing, but believe me, our brains, they work in myriad kind of ways, and this is a kind of a technique that you can use to trick your brain to make it seem that even SBI PO, it is a slightly different thing, and IBPS RRB, it is slightly different. So try and have that kind of a dichotomy between these two things. So I hope that I was able to explain, and you didn't think that it was just mumbo jumbo that I just talked to you, but try it. I think that it is going to help you. Now for the books that you need to refer, for the officer scale 1, 2 and 3, you have a Disha's guide for IBPS RRB officer. Now this is a book that has comprehensive things, so it will be having English, it will be having quant, reasoning, and even the financial awareness and banking awareness. A little of it is actually inside that book, although some things might not be covered, but at least it will give you an idea. And if you are going for the office assistant multi-purpose post, then you can grab the Disha's guide for IBPS RRB office assistant book, and I will be leaving the links to all of these things in the description and in the comments. You can go check it out. And of course, for the other sections, the quant section, you can get the R.S.Agarwal book. I have talked about it a lot of times. And reasoning also, R.S.Agarwal is quite good. Otherwise, you can get the M.K. Pandey analytical reasoning, that also works. And for the DIs, Arun Sharma's DI book, this is something that is quite invaluable. If you can try and get this, although I don't think that such high level of things will be asked, but still it doesn't hurt, because the difficulty level of the exam is going up day by day. And then 2 high quality mock test series. Now make sure that you have very high quality mock test series. Now if you ask me for the recommendation, I can tell you that Guidely offers very good high quality mock tests at almost the cheapest price you can find in India. They have comprehensive mock tests, they have PDFs, they have live classes, videos, and all the important things that you need to get success. You are going to get a mentorship program whereby a selected officer from a bank is going to actually call you and have a discussion with you. You are going to have a doubt clearing session in their secret Telegram group, and you are also going to get the best faculty in India teaching you. And the best thing, if you get selected in any of these examinations, you get 100% refund. And of course, this will actually help you a lot, because you are subscribing to one course and getting access to all of these examinations for a lifetime validity. So go check it out if you are interested. And let us move to the RRB preliminary examination. So the office assistant and the scale 1, the similar kind of pattern is followed. Only one difference you are going to see in the prelims, which is that in the OA it is actually written as numerical ability, and here they have mentioned in the scale 1 as quantitative aptitude. Now why is this? There is a slight difference in the level of the examination, of course. So the level over here is going to be little lesser than the level over here, but most of the things are remaining the same. So don't dwell a lot on that fact. And if you are practicing the RRB officer examinations, then your clerical examination preparation also is done very well. Now coming to the duration, you only have 45 minutes, right? And the number of questions you can see, 80 questions. So a lot of questions you have to actually solve. You have actually 40 questions in reasoning and 40 questions in quant. So your sectional cutoff you must be clearing. So in reasoning, you are going to have to clear the cutoff, and also in the quant, you are going to have to clear the cutoff. So both of the sectional cutoffs you have to clear, and also the aggregate cutoff out of 80 you are going to have to clear. And of course, negative marking is also there. So minus 25% of the marks if you are getting a wrong answer. And the test has various versions. So the versions, you can get the reasoning paper in English or in Hindi or any of the local language of the state in which you belong. So your different papers, reasoning and quant, you can get in other languages as well. Now the way that you have to actually approach this prelims paper, what you can do is you have 45 minutes, right? So just firstly identify which is your strong section. So for example, if your reasoning is your strong suit that you have found out from the mock tests, what you can do is for the first 5 minutes of the test, try and do the reasoning paper, find out the easiest questions in the reasoning paper and just solve them. So first 5 minutes spend on the reasoning paper, the next 5 minutes you can spend on the quant paper. So just find out the easiest questions. In the first 10 minutes you must find out all the easy questions that have been given in the quant paper and also in the reasoning paper. And then the next 5 minutes, what you can do, you can just fine tune, and if some of the questions that you felt were too calculative or you didn't get to the right answer, just write down the question number in your rough sheet, and in the third 5-minute interval that I told you, just find out those questions and try to solve them. So that is how you are actually spending your first 15 minutes. Now you have 30 more minutes at your disposal. This 30 minutes, 15 minutes try to invest in reasoning and the next 15 minutes in quant. But what happens usually, we can try and equalize the distribution, but what happens is, I told you that one of the papers is going to be difficult. So it is very, very important that when you find some difficult questions, you do not waste time. This thing has happened to a lot of students and many people have told me about this. So what happens is, they will be just solving the quant paper. So they are in the flow, they are solving the quant paper, and then they find some very difficult or a very tricky kind of questions, and they still go ahead with your quant section and they are trying to just solve these questions. But that is a very big mistake, because you are losing time, right? Remember, you have a composite time, and the composite time is given to you for a reason. It means that you have to maximize your attempts. Many people are going to attempt a lot of marks. So if you talk about attempts, usually what happens is a 60 plus is considered as a good attempt. So but it will of course depend on the paper, and we cannot say that if I have scored 60 then I will be in. No, we cannot say like this, but 60 plus is usually seen as a good attempt, and sometimes it can range in 65 to 70 range, or it can go down in the 50s as well. But this is a benchmark kind of a thing, right? So try and get all the marks that you can get within the time that is allocated to you. So try to push towards that 60 range as much as possible, because what you can find is that this last 30 minutes that you have, you can do one thing. You can just find out which are the questions that if I am given time I can do, and just do those questions, because in the first 15 minutes you have tried to do all the easy ones. So in the next 30 minutes you have to strategize very, very well. Don't just normally divide your time. If you are seeing that the difficulty level is differing a lot, then you can try and find out the questions that are doable and just solve them. So this is how you have to strategize the entire paper. Just remember that all the questions are not going to be possible to do. So in the reasoning section you might have blood relations, which are quite easy. You might have inequalities, which are also quite easy. You might also have coding decoding, so that is also something that is very easy. And then you have to go for the puzzle. So puzzle, this is very important. That I know that puzzle you are trying a lot, but puzzle do not go at the very beginning or even at the beginning of this 30-minute range that I told you. What you have to do is you have to first find out the quant things, the things that you can actually solve. So usually in the prelims you are going to find at least 2 DIs, or you might find 3 DIs. Mostly it is going to be 2 DIs. So in the first 15 minutes do not do any kind of DI, but when the next 30 minutes starts, find out some easy DIs to do, because if you can locate the easy DI, it is a easy 5 marks, right? So your marks, you are automatically getting a lot more marks by the lesser time investment, and since you will be having a lot more time left, then you can attack the other questions. So puzzles keep at the lowest priority, and the other questions try and solve as much as possible. You have to play this very delicately. You have to strategize very, very well. Try to find the optimum things in the mocks that you are doing, and I am sure that prelims you are going to crack without any kind of problem. So this is the kind of strategy that you have to follow, and always break down your mocks into various times. The first 5 minutes, the first 10 minutes, the first 15 minutes, and the next 25 minutes. This is how you are going to actually break down your mocks, because then you will be able to understand that where I am lacking, which is the segment in which I am not performing optimally. And now coming to the next section, which is our mains examination. Now a lot of people have this question of whether there is going to be sectional cutoff in the mains exam. Now let me tell you, yes, sectional cutoff is very much there. So you have to pass in each of the sectional tests and also in the aggregate cutoff. So keep that in mind. Now coming to the mains examination, we, as I told you, have reasoning and the quant, the numerical ability. So 50 marks over here and 50 marks over here. Total is 200, and you have 100 marks, which is 50% of the paper, comprising of reasoning and your quant. And here you have to also check whether you are going to give the English or the Hindi. So either one you have to give. So there is going to be 40 marks of English or it is going to be of Hindi. So that is how the distribution goes. And you have computer knowledge and general awareness of 20 and 40 marks. So this is how you are getting to the 200 marks. Now how are you going to strategize here? The composite time will be given to you. Composite time, this means that in 2 hours you are going to have to complete the entire paper. There is no sectional timing, nothing, just you have to go one by one, and you can navigate to any section that you want. So what I suggest is, when the examination starts, right away do not look at reasoning, do not look at English or Hindi, and do not look at quant. What you are going to do when it starts, do these two sections first, the computer knowledge and the general awareness. Now why is this? This is because when you have finished off with these two sections, you have what? 40 questions here, 40 questions here, so 80 questions and 60 marks. So when you are completing these two sections at the beginning of the paper itself, then 60 marks, out of that 60 marks you are going to get at least say 45 or 50, something like that. So easily you have secured 40 or 50 marks almost. So this is very, very important. Try and find out where you need to start from. According to me, I have seen that computer and general awareness, if you start from here, then your chances get maximized, because you have solved a lot portion of the paper in a very limited amount of time, and after that you can attack the section in which you are more strong. So if you are strong in English, go for English, or if you are strong in reasoning, go for reasoning or for quant. And here I will say that at least 7 minutes to 10 minutes. So 7 minutes to 10 minutes you just spend on each of the sections. So if you have started with reasoning, then 7 to 10 minutes spend in reasoning. Find out the easy questions first and try and get all the easy questions as you can. Then you can do the English, then you can do the quant. So 7 to 10 minutes, maximum of 30 minutes will be spent like this. So in 3 of the sections, 30 minutes you are going to spend. And at the beginning of the paper, what we have done the computer and the GA. So computer and GA, you have 80 questions, right? Now if you are actually doing it very well, then within 20 minutes or maximum of 25 minutes you are going to finish both of these things. So 25 plus 30, it is around 55 minutes. Say 1 hour. Okay, let us consider that 1 hour you have spent, and in this hour what have you done? You have finished off with your computer and GA, 100% is done. You have done the easy questions of reasoning, you have done the easy questions of English, you have done the easy questions of quant. So the easy questions are also over, and these two sections are 100% over within your first 1 hour. Now you have 1 more hour to go. What you can do? A little harder questions of English and of quant you can do. So English, this is the time where you can do the RCs in English. So the RC that you have, maybe you will be having 2 or maximum 3 RCs. Actually it will be mostly 2. So 2 RCs that you have, you are going to attack the RCs, and in the quant what you are going to do? You are going to attack the DIs. So try and do the DIs and the RC as much as possible in the next 1 hour, in the beginning of the next 1 hour. So you will be having some marks, some easy marks. You are going to score at least 15 to 20 marks easily in this part, and then you move to reasoning and find out if there are any easier non-puzzles left. If there are no easier non-puzzles left, then you can go directly into the puzzles. So the next 10 to 15 minutes you can spend on the puzzles. Now this is how you are actually going to strategize. So 10 minutes of the second hour you are going to give to your English, then 10 minutes you are going to give to quant, and then 10 to 15 minutes you are going to give to your puzzles in the reasoning. Now if you have done this accurately, then you are still going to have around 20 minutes left, maybe 20 to 25 minutes left in the final part of the examination. Now what you are going to do in this time, you are just going to recap the paper and see if you have any kind of mistakes done, and then you are going to just go into the very moderate kind of questions, the very difficult type of questions, and you can just finish off the paper in this kind of way. So this is how I think that you can approach it. Now it will be depending on you how you are going to strategize, how you are going to actually do it. Now I'll just tell you that if you are thinking of the easy things, so for the easy questions in reasoning, what are the easy questions? You have coding, decoding, these are the easy questions. You have the inequalities, okay, so inequalities are also quite easy. Then you also have the questions on the blood relations, these are also very easy. Then you have the verbal reasoning or the critical reasoning, whatever long passages or something that is given to you, these are the easy ones that you can do on. And also you have the direction, so the direction things, so all the direction questions that you have, north, south, east, west, these are the easy ones. And after you have done all the easy ones, then you can do the hard ones of reasoning. So what are the hard ones? They are the sitting arrangements, so sitting arrangement is there. Then you have the box puzzles, then you have the floor based puzzles, then you have the mixed puzzles, so you might have blood relations mixed with ranking, then you might have some kind of other mixtures as well. So these are the difficult questions of your reasoning. So I have already told you how you are going to attempt. I'm just telling you the different kinds of difficulty level. And now computer and GA, there is nothing like that. In English, what are the easy ones? You have fill in the blanks, you have closer test, you have synonyms and antonyms, you have how you are going to start the sentences, and also the multiple fillers that you have. So these are the easy ones. And the moderate ones, as I told you, the RC, you have to do the RCs as well. So RCs, it depends on your English skills, whether you are going to do all of them or you are going to do only one. And then the most difficult ones like the parajumbles and other kinds of difficult English questions, you can just do at the very end. And for the quant, what you can do for the quant, you just try to do the number series first. Number series, usually it will be the most easy. Then if you have some approximation or simplification, now mostly it will not be there. If you are lucky, then you can go ahead and do. And then you can do one more thing. Oh yes, in the reasoning also you have to put the syllogisms as well. So syllogs are also something that are easy in reasoning. So in the easy section you can do that. And for the quant, what are the other things? You can do problems on averages, the time and work you can do. Then you can do the various boats and streams kind of problems, then the probability and the combination kind of problems. And after all of the easy ones like these are actually done, you can then go for the data sufficiency and for the data interpretation, the DI. So I think that if you are actually attacking the paper in this kind of a arrangement, then I'm sure that you are going to maximize your scores. And the cutoff, they usually do not cross 100 in most of these examinations. I'm talking about the overall aggregate cutoff, but we never know what can happen. So if you do it in this way, I am sure that whatever the cutoff comes, you can easily go ahead and you can crack it. It won't be a lot of problem for you. So I hope that you get a good idea. And for the interviews, so the office assistant, there is no interview. So if you are getting out of 200, whatever you are getting, if you are just passing the aggregate cutoff and you are in the merit list, then you get the job. There is no interview there. And for the officer scale 1, now same thing, reasoning is there here also, English, quant is there. So reasoning again 50 marks and quant again 50 marks. As I told you that 50% of the paper comprises of reasoning and quant. So as I told you at the very beginning, make sure that you practice reasoning and quant very well. You again have the computer knowledge and the general awareness. So the same kind of thing you are going to follow over here. And of course, as I told you in the previous section, I have told you how you are going to attempt this paper, and same thing is going to apply over here. Just here they have written the quantitative aptitude instead of numerical ability. It hardly matters so much because they are anyway going to give you DI, they are are going to give you DS. So this is how you are going to actually attempt the mains exam of the officer scale 1. Now again, you are having the composite time of 2 hours. So I have already told you how you are going to tackle this. It won't be a problem. And regarding the computer knowledge, so I have an MCQ series for the computer knowledge. Now you can go check it out. I have also mentioned some sources in that video, and you can have a comprehensive preparation of your computer section. So I hope that it will be quite helpful to you. And for the general awareness as well, I have some playlists on my channel. You can find out. I have not updated that. I'm sorry. I will be trying and updating in the recent months whatever updates have come, and I think that it's going to help you. Now coming to the percentage weightage, so in the mains exam they are going to give you 80% weightage. So this 200 marks, this is going to be normalized into 80 marks, and then you have the interview for the rest 20%. So we already talked about that, and 3 times of the vacancies are going to make it to the interview. So if your vacancy is 100, then 300 people are going to be selected for the interview. Now also remember one important thing, that normalization plays a very vital role in the IBPS RRB examination. Earlier also, due to normalization, many radical things have happened. So if you have a little lower attempts, there is not a reason that you are going to panic. Just remember that the difficulty level can vary according to different shifts. So if your shift is actually very much difficult, then your marks, there is a likelihood that it will be increased. So even if you out of 200 say you have attempted 100, you might be getting more than 100 if the normalization happens. So these kinds of things happen, and don't worry about all of those things. It will be taken care of, I hope. And coming to the officer scale 2, so this is the general banking post. Again, reasoning is there, and you have the quant and DI. Here they have actually mentioned DI, and a lot of stress is actually given on the scale 2 exam for the DIs. Now again, 50 marks here, 50 marks here. As you can see, 50% of the paper is comprised of these two things. Then you have computer knowledge, and here you have the financial awareness. Now regarding the financial and the banking awareness, a lot of people were asking me to make something, so I'm thinking about it. If you need it as well, let me know. I will definitely try and make something. And you have the English or the Hindi, again whatever you have to choose. So here also same thing you have to follow. First target the computer knowledge and the financial awareness section. So you are going to have 2 hours, right? In the very first moment the paper will start, target these two sections, then start from your strongest section. As I already told you that you have to start with either reasoning or English or quant. Then you have to go reasoning, quant, English, like that. You have to just give 10 minutes to each section, and then the easy questions will be covered by you. Then the moderate questions you are going to do in the next hour. Same thing that I have told you, so I'm not repeating the same thing. You can just check the previous portion of the video. And now regarding the composite timing we have talked about. So maximum marks, it will be out of 200, mains 80%, and interview 20% weightage. Same thing, 200 marks, it's going to be reduced to 80 marks. So the same thing is followed for the scale 2 examination, and again 3 times of the vacancies are going to make it to the interview. And remember that scale 2 RRB mains, this examination, this is a single level examination. So for the scale 2 examination, there is no prelims, there is directly the mains that you have to sit for. So just keep that in mind. Now coming to the next part, so the officer scale 2 specialist. Now this is the only examination where it is a little different, because see, reasoning here we have 40 marks, and quant we have how much? We have 40 marks. So 80 marks are there, not 100 this time, a little less, because we have also the professional knowledge. So professional knowledge, I'll be linking to some books. So I hope that you can refer to those books for the IT people I'm talking about. So if you are in the IT field, I'll just put some book links down in the description and the comments, so you can check it out. So I hope that it's going to be helpful for you. And coming to the financial awareness, same thing that we already discussed, and the English and the computer. Now this financial awareness, this computer knowledge, and this professional knowledge. So 40 marks and 20 marks. This comes to 100 marks. So 100 marks you have to target early on. Professional knowledge, financial awareness, and computer knowledge. This is how you are going to start your exam. And remember, you have 2 hours and 30 minutes here, so a longer time is given to you. So once you have done that, after that the same kind of strategy you can follow, and you can actually go ahead and you can practice all of those things without any kind of problem. And the mains, again, it is 80% weightage, interview is 20% weightage. Again, 3 times of the vacancies are going to make it to the interview. So the same thing, nothing more to discuss over here. And coming coming to the officer scale 3, here also you have a similar thing, reasoning and quant, again 50 marks, 100 marks, so 50% weightage is given by them. Computer knowledge, financial awareness, they are the same things, so 20 marks and 40 marks you have. Then you have English language over here, so the same thing. If you notice it, you will find that scale 2 and scale 3 exams, there is a lot of similarity. The only difference is that the financial awareness, it's going to be a lot harder for scale 3, and the DI and the quant, these things are also going to be a lot harder in the scale 3 examination. And of course the reasoning level, mostly it remains the same. English and the computer knowledge, they also remain mostly the same. This is also a composite time of 2 hours, so the similar kind of thing that I have already told you, you can follow and you can get the maximum marks in the scale 3 examination. Again 80% and 20% is the weightage, and 3 times of vacancies are going to make it to the interview. So coming to the interview of the RRB exam, remember that it is only applicable for officers. So officers scale 1, scale 2, scale 3, all the specialists, they are the only people who need to sit for the interview. 100 marks will be there and 20% weightage will be actually applicable. So out of every 5 mark that you are getting in the final result, in the final tally, it will amount to 1 mark. 5 marks in interview means 1 mark in the final tally. Now coming to the syllabus of the interview, so of course you are going to have a lot of different things, and I'll be making a video on the GD and PI section very soon, so you'll understand a lot more. But just remember that in the RRB interview, there is the nodal RRB that is involved, there is NABARD involved, and there is also IBPS involved. So there are various different stakeholders that you need to actually please. So you need to focus on the RRB history, you need to focus a lot on the developmental challenges. So financial inclusion, what have we done in the last 50 years in financial inclusion, why were the RRBs actually implemented, then what are the local area banks, what are the various kinds of schemes, what are the various committees involved, and also remember the sponsor bank of your RRB. So if you are going for a RRB interview, the sponsor bank of your RRB, make sure that you know a lot about the sponsor bank, because some questions can be thrown about the sponsor bank and also about that exact RRB. Try and read a little bit from the website if they have, or online if you can find something regarding that RRB, it will help you to get some more marks. So try and brush up on your banking knowledge, and I hope that if I make the banking awareness playlist, then it will be a lot useful to you to understand about banking, and it will help you in the interview as well. And of course finally 1 year reserve list is actually maintained by RRB, or until the next notification they are going to maintain the reserve list, whichever is the lesser time. So I hope that in this entire thing that I told you, you got a good idea about how you can tackle the RRB examination and how you can maximize your chances for this comprehensive preparation strategy of the IBPS RRB 2020 examination. Now I know that this exam might not be your primary choice, you might be looking to some other examinations, but in life there is a strange thing that happens. Sometimes we don't get what we want, but we get something else which also is not that bad. So with that thought, I hope that you learned something from this video and that it was beneficial to you. If you enjoyed this session, give it a like and share it with your friends, and please subscribe to the channel if you have not done it already. We cover some great content over here, and remember to click on the bell icon so that you, my friend, do not miss any future update. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.